Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Beers Bytes, hosted by Chris Jordan and Jeremy Murtishaw. Our guest this week is Mike Jenks, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Adapt Forward. You will enjoy listening to his experiences dealing with the NSA red teams, as well as learn about his MDR services, and then finally the cyber shell framework that they use in terms of the MITRE attack models and how they deploy that and operationalize that out to clients. With that, enjoy.
All right.
I'm done with makeup.
We're done with makeup, all powdered up. All right. Welcome to the second pilot of Beers and Bytes. We'll start with our beers. Mike, you want to show your beer first? I won't make fun of it.
You can make fun of it. It's Miller Lite, and that's okay because I've been in quarantine for 3 weeks, so I have an alibi.
All right. Jeremy, you're going to show us yours?
Sure. So I've got two. We'll start with the first one. This is our Dos Equis Amber, which is a great one. Usually prefer that with chips and salsa. And then, in case that one runs out, I got a Corona.
Did they stop making those? Dude. Somebody stop making them? Okay. All right, I got my my Lucy Juicy. There we go. It doesn't really focus well around here, but it's a Solace microbrew, so I'm pretty pumped. It's one of my. I like these hazy IPAs. In fact, I got to steer into that hazy IPA next time. We'll hit that one. So anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a headache for me, dude. I don't know, something with the IPAs that just crushes me.
I think that these double IPAs, what percentile is this one? This one can't be that bad. 8%.
15.
8%. So
it's better than vodka.
We'll go into a story one time about my co-founder Quinn drinking "Do Not Resuscitate" from Oklahoma. He had some DNR, and he didn't know it was a high alcohol beer.
Oh.
He's like, I know what the words are. I don't know how to say them.
Quinn's awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about you, Mike. So Mike, we're going to talk about the craziness of you starting a company right now and such a lucrative time of the virus. You named it CyberShell. And I'm not going to go into that one. I know it had another name when it originally came out. I'm sure you'll have another name in a bit.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, so you're about to tell us your humble beginnings of going down to South Carolina for the beer and the sun and the humidity
and the hockey.
And the hockey.
Well-known hockey.
Stingray hockey.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy. Yeah, man. Yeah, so crazy times. Perfect time to launch a company. But ultimately, it's good because we own two companies. One of them is a defense contracting company.
Right.
So that's pretty successful. So that's keep the printing machine running, and that'll be funded nicely throughout the little turnover here. But
that could be an interesting conversation, by the way. How do you actually start a company? But we'll get back. Let's hit your product, and maybe we talk about how do you actually start a company at one point. so you move down, doing these contracts.
Yeah, you pay like $5, and you have an LLC registered, and then you're good.
They're good. So what happened that all of a sudden you went from doing the government service thing to decide to create a company?
Yeah. So been doing the defense contracting, gig for quite a while. Been in the, cyber defense industry for about 20 years now. Moved down to Charleston back in 2012, and it was in support of a Department of Defense cybersecurity service provider program. So ultimately, what that is if you're connected to the Department of Defense network, it's mandated that you have a cyber security service provider service monitor your IP space. So for the services, that's easy because, Army watches Army, Navy watches Navy. But then, there's a whole slew of other, organizations and entities that, are connected, but still require a cybersecurity service provider. So anyway, the client down here in Charleston, they were standing up their instance of a CSSP.
Yeah.
And, ultimately, to be a CSSP, you have to be accredited every 3 years. Basically, auditors come in, they do the paperwork drill. Back in 2012, that all went well. Auditors came in, checked the documentation, scored 100%, all good. The other half of the accreditation effort is you have to be assessed by an NSA certified red team, blindly, right? So back in 2012, red team, compromised the network and went undetected. Made a little more noise, went undetected. Finally, screaming from the rooftops, find me, undetected. It's like, oh shit.
Wow.
And ultimately they said, all right, we're done. Wrote up a report and said, hey guys, awesome when you're 100%, fix this. And we're like, oh shit, okay. And ultimately, upon reading the report, you take a look at it and you're like, a lot of the way, the red team was operating, wasn't inherently malicious. So you're looking at things like, let's say I'm a bad guy. I throw a spearfish. I land on Chris's box. I'm in user context, right? Is that game over? Did the bad guys win? Well, no. I mean, that's bad, obviously, but ultimately, what they're there for is probably sitting on that server over there or somewhere else in the network. So, they have to move laterally, maybe escalate privileges, right? There's only so many ways you can do that sort of thing. And a lot of ways you can do it is not inherently malicious. For instance, moving laterally, I could map a network drive. I could use PowerShell. I could use WMI. I mean, there's a lot of normal
PowerShell. We wouldn't have a job without PowerShell.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, right? But I mean, system admins, they use that stuff all the time. So, that's where it's tough to detect that sort of thing. So, here we were, charged with defending the Department of Defense, and we just got our ass kicked, and, it was up to us to fix it. So, first thing we went to is, hey, hey, industry, hey, multi-million-dollar architecture that we, invested money in. Can you guys detect this sort of thing? And they said, oh yeah, we can detect all that. Well, okay, well, I don't believe you because I didn't see anything, alert, and we just got wrecked. And then, you go down the route of, well, let's say industry could detect the bad guys, and ultimately, you're like, hey, hey McAfee, hey, XYZ company, I saw that, an attack came in, but, that flashing red light said, hey, something bad happened, but I blocked it. Thank God, my savior, we appreciate it. But, ultimately, can you tell me why you made the decision to block that? And, these companies can't for the most part because that's their proprietary secret sauce. So, this is us back in 2012 thinking, holy shit, we're in charge of defending the Department of Defense. We don't know what we're protected against. Industry's not going to tell us. So what do? And ultimately, what we ended up doing was started to build out something like MITRE ATT&CK, which was basically mapping out all the post-compromise phases of an attack and the ways to do that. And, ultimately, in 2013, we came across a pre-release of MITRE ATT&CK and immediately adopted it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
So that came in, you created software to implement MITRE ATT&CK. In other words, you're listening to all this stuff, and we were talking before. So a lot of the stuff you implemented, though, you implemented not just at the network level, right? You did host-based stuff. So you eventually selected an EDR, right?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, it goes back to the point that, man, we really just didn't know what we were protected against and what we were not.
Yeah.
And, we found the, MITRE ATT&CK framework, and we're adopting that. And the idea was we were going to run basically a purple team exercise, which is the offensive guys and the defensive guys working together to validate, what all of the cyber defense capabilities within the environment could detect and what they couldn't. So, that was a long, enduring exercise, but at the end of the day, we knew, no kidding, what we could see and what we couldn't, which was awesome. So then, now that we knew our gaps, the next stage of that was operationalizing it. So we started looking around to all the industry partners, as to what type of SIMs and source solutions out there at the time, had anything to do with MITRE. Well, there wasn't. So we ultimately ended up building a custom solution that operationalizes MITRE ATT&CK, and built our own in-house detection logic to detect all the TTPs.
Why don't you use CVE? It was already out there. Why MITRE ATT&CK?
I mean, CVEs, I would think, okay, it goes back to, there's a billion ways to compromise a network, right? If an attacker wants to get in, they're going to get in, right? But, it's what they do after they get in. That's a finite. So there's a billion ways to get in, but after you get in, there's a finite amount of ways to achieve the goals.
Right.
And
so
if
it's
you
not
look
even
at
a vulnerability anymore, it's just they got access, they're moving laterally.
Right.
So now
Yep.
here's the $1 million question, or the entire business is based upon. So what are you? Are you a service company that's going to come in here and help square away my operations? Are you this magical MDR world? Are you an MSSP? Are you a product now? Is CyberShell just a product? So
yeah,
eventually you're going to wind up, hopefully not talking to a VC. Well, let's say you talk to a VC. What are you going to say you are? What's going to be your value prop?
Right. No, that's a good question. That is the $1 million question. And I guess, to answer it, the short answer is, both, right? We are an MDR, a services offering, but we also are a product company, and it depends on the capability of the end customer, right? So these large scale organizations that have their own in-house SOC capability and the expertise in-house, they would be targets to, basically just a product sale. And what they're buying is the ability to operationalize MITRE ATT&CK, but then also the heavy dose of professional services and knowledge that we've acquired after, iterating over this for the past 8 years, and really, really making an impact in customer environments. So, and that goes back to the story, right? So guess what? That red team comes back every 3 years, right? To reassess. And in 2015, we caught them within the first hour of initial compromise.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, we caught them pivoting into the network from another side door, to the point where the red team director had to call me up and say, "Oh man, that was fantastic. I can't believe you guys caught us pivoting into the network, but man, that was about 8 months worth of work, and it was very expensive. So if you guys could look the other way for 5 minutes, man, that'd be awesome. And then we could continue on our mission." So ultimately, Does it work? Absolutely. Does it take some elbow grease? Absolutely. So, if there's anybody out there telling you that, they have a magic bullet for operationalizing MITRE ATT&CK, I'd say they're lying to you. But
it's a pretty robust, I don't even want to call it robust. It's an endless amount of processing of MITRE ATT&CK. There's still a significant amount of lateral movement that isn't properly documented in MITRE ATT&CK just yet. So,
absolutely.
So Jeremy, because you've been quiet, you're not even drinking your beer when you're quiet, which kind of upsets me.
Well, I'm pacing myself. I'm not. I'm gonna have to get a second one. All right.
So now I'm gonna pull you into this and ask you to give therapy lessons to Mike. All right? Because Mike, you got to tell me, are you a product, or am I going to buy you as an MDR service?
So again, I think it goes back to the size of the organization.
Right, Jeremy, help him out, bro.
Well, maybe we first start by asking the question: how do you operationalize MITRE ATT&CK? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a company. Let's pretend I am company XYZ, and I've got firewall, I've got endpoint of some endpoint products, firewall products. Maybe I've got some SD-WAN. All the appropriate accoutrements for an organization of my size. How then do you assist in the operationalizing MITRE ATT&CK? Say that after you've had a couple of beers.
That's not the beer talking.
Yeah, no doubt. So the Cyber Shell is really a framework that allows customized detection logic to be queried against various data lakes within your environment, right? It can sit on top of one, it can sit on top of many. So, if you have all of the correct telemetry rolling in, the detection logic will fire, and that's the key, right? And that's where we really provide value. Is we have 8 years worth of configuration knowledge. We have a saying within the company. It's kind of stupid, but it's true. Where we have a tagline. It's called like "Wake up, Cyber." Wake up, Cyber, because really, what we found in a lot of customer environments is they have the tool sets. Even the OSs, right? They have a lot of the right telemetry. You just have to know what to log. And if you're logging the right stuff,
right,
and that's sent back to the data lake, now this custom detection logic that's querying against those data lakes, will fire, and it will find bad guys. Absolutely. And then on top of that, what Cyber Shell provides is, you pay your analysts to analyze data, not go be gophers, right? So when the customized detection logic fires against these data lakes and it gets a direct hit, what Cyber Shell does is via APIs, it reaches out to all of the auxiliary metadata sets in the environment and pulls it together and puts it in a single pane of glass for your analyst to quickly and efficiently make a decision whether something is benign or not. Now, the benefits of that are, man, your Splunk licensing cost, holy crap, that's expensive. Why would you send everything in there, right? Why not just send the pertinent information, leave all of the other data sets on device and only reach out when you need to grab it? And honestly, from Chris's perspective, that's a good use case for Fluency as well.
Yeah,
right?
I'm a big believer in collecting everything and then figuring out whether I need it. But so, man, I'm going to put you on the hot seat because I'm listening to Jeremy, you're listening to it, and we both have run SOCs and made money running SOCs. Personally, I just don't see the end customer running the product themselves, because it's intelligence, right? It's knowing what's being alerted and abetting it. To me, I'm going to pigeonhole you, Mike. I'm going to say you're an MDR, that magical MDR unicorn nobody knows about, right? Jeremy, what do you think?
And I don't know. I think he might be a plug-in to Fluency, so that I can visualize the MITRE framework on top of your data.
That's
right? And then I can take action on based on the different columns that are happening there.
So
right?
you're basically saying you'll help resell CyberShell and Fluency, and you'll be the MDR. Man, I don't disagree. The reason why I'm going down this route, and I don't mean to put on this particular thing, because I think this is a really good example of an early stage company. I mean, don't you? Early stage company, you're making money on one side, you've got great knowledge and capability, you have the technical solution, but you don't have the magical easy button yet, right? You don't have the clear statement where somebody says, wow, I got to get you in-house, but yet you know you're going to outperform the secure works of the world. You know you're going to outperform, the basic MSSP model.
Absolutely.
MDRs out there today, let me just be honest, that most MDRs are writing their procedures as they work with their customers. Their customers, for their experiment.
Most SOCs are too.
Yeah. And so you got Mike here, who's been running one for a while. He's tired.
Yep.
He knows how it runs. He wants to productize it. It's great, right? And so, but the gap is, how does he deliver it to the end customer? I'm only half joking, Jeremy. I think you're pretty sweet. This is a sweet spot, and it's a great spot to discuss, because you go into a customer and you say, listen, you need an EDR, you need some SD-WAN vision, you need basic parameters, especially on your email vector coming in. I'll get you that data, I'll review it, and I'll use this product as a structure, right? But this product requires, like as Mike said, I mean, you go into an organization and you're doing the same thing, helping advise the CISO to understand what your gaps are. Like you and I just chit chat about this like it's second nature. But imagine you're a CISO walking into an organization and you're trying to figure out where to start, right? And of course you want your basic EPP, your endpoint protection, right? But what do you do after that, right? And you take the coronavirus. We're half joking about the coronavirus, a serious thing, but the reality is now you have a completely different mode of operation where your employees are logging in remotely. They're no longer going through your firewall, right? They're using personal equipment where you don't have an antivirus or an EDR installed in it. Half of them are using their phones, and there is no decent endpoint protection for a phone today. I mean, maybe Checkpoint Sandblast might be a nice one.
Sandblast,
right?
Yeah.
That's worth getting somebody from Israel to talk to us about, because I think that's by far the most advanced of them, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the only one that we feel confident putting on endpoints for our customers.
So I'm gonna get into my beer, so I'm gonna wrap it up with you guys. And you're not. Are you still milking it? They're still, going slow.
Well, he hasn't had it. He hasn't had a drink in like 10 minutes. I still have a fresh one.
I'm gonna run out and get more. Now, this is a good combo. I mean, what do you think, Jeremy? I mean,
I don't know.
I've seen this tech. That's the reason why we brought Mike on, right? The technology is awesome, right? The idea and the concept is prior to MITRE ATT&CK.
And I mean, it works. I mean, it's not a white paper and an idea. It's a proven, it's a proven product. We're just commercializing it now. Yeah. Commercial product and methodology. I'll say that.
So I'm putting it on you, Jeremy, because you're the brains of the operation. You got your Vegas hat on. What team do you root for again?
Wait. This will really piss off people.
You had Vegas.
Today I'm bipolar. Yeah. This is an homage to my son. He's a Vegas fan.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you were talking about Pennsylvania. I need a jersey, a Hershey Bears jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah.
they're hard to get the
guys.
actual playable jerseys. They have a lot of the fake ones out there. All right, so what's your advice? Now I keep on sidetracking. I mean, dude, you're in the same. You're more in the boat that Mike is in than anybody else. What do you think?
Are you taking data and plugging it into this dashboard, or do you have an engine that runs behind the dashboard, or is this all take a lot of human intervention to do?
Right. So it's what it is a lot of custom detection logic, and depending on whatever data lake that it's querying against. I mean, that's whether it be Elastic, whether that be Splunk, whether that be Fluency, or a combination of all three, at once. What it is again, knowing what configurations, what's available in the customer environment, knowing the right configurations for those capabilities to get the right telemetry into the data lake, and then our custom detection logic that detects those behaviors outlined in MITRE ATT&CK. That's what's querying against those data lakes. So it's a combination of getting the right telemetry, and then our detection logic that we built mapped to MITRE.
So it's a two-part. Seems like a two-part company, right? You've got.
Just tell me quick what are the two parts, so I can catch up when I get back.
Well, you got the professional services, and you've got the overlay, which is something that he would work with the Fluencies and the Splunks of the world to have that added to their dashboarding capabilities.
Okay, so I'm only going to get a 12 ounce.
Go get your beer.
Now I know which one it is, so I'm going to get the 12 ounce. Go ahead.
Professional, we are not, but fun we are.
Oh, dude, yeah. This is the industry right here. This is what the industry is about.
This is just a bunch of nerds talking about their stuff.
Yeah, dude, just trying to solve problems and having fun doing it.
Yeah.
Just enjoying
I
it.
notice in your screen, in your background, it's the things are changing back and forth on that. Is that like a real-time map, or is that just a GIF that you're running?
Oh, this is actually, man, I should get a free license for XSplit VCam. It's just a piece of software that you can add virtual backgrounds to. But Chris, you asked earlier, what's the deal with the cyber shell and the name? So
yeah, I know the original name. That's the reason why I'm like.
Yeah, so Adapt Forward is the defense contracting company that we own, and the logo is a turtle. So we tried to keep it all, turtle related.
That makes sense.
Cyber shell.
Turtle power.
Turtle power, dude. Bunch of ninjas running.
Heroes in a
turtle. UMD. I switched over to the hazy little thing.
Dude, you already finished
that? One of my favorite beers right there.
I finished the other pint, yeah.
Oh, dude.
So
you're already passed out.
Because you've been talking, and I appreciate it. That's the reason why we're here. It's not for me to talk. But I mean, you listen, you've done.
So it's an implementation service.
Yeah.
He's an implementation service, a best practice, right? How do I configure my environment to get the most data, most useful, usable data out of it, and then how can I visualize that data? And that's where the framework comes in. So
I'll tell you what I like about it. So I'm looking at it from a completely different type of thing, Jeremy. I'm looking at it saying to myself, well, I work with these guys, and I think that what it is, you look at the years experience. I mean, you and I have years experience, Mike has years experience, but the point is that he's got what I would consider, let's say, call them queries. He's got what he knows he needs to ask for to say what happened that relates to this grid that I'm seeing behind Mike.
Right.
And the point is, that is all the intellectual property, right? To tell you the truth, like posting it together and putting it, no matter what you use application-wise, the power of his company is going to be this understanding of how to ask the questions and create it. I know I can work with Mike to change it to make it even better, where I can do all this stuff in real time, right? He doesn't have to query to do it. I can watch for it and let him know. But the true intellectual property is these queries. That's the $1 million company. And the reason is because all these other MDRs, like I told you, are learning on this. They don't really know what it is. They're gonna burn a couple companies before they solve a problem.
So, and I'll add to that, Chris. I mean, that's why we do like Fluency, because just by the nature of operationalizing MITRE ATT&CK, there is a high amount of false positives, right? So going back to the early conversation, a lot of the ways bad guys move around the network are not inherently malicious, right? So when you have, the aspect of the machine learning and fusion capabilities of Fluency on the back end, that's what we're super excited about as far as integrating it as a back end for our solution and detection logic.
That's the reason why I think early on you might go into the model, what I call the concierge model, which is you're adding services to be able to implement that technology into a company, and you get that company to a certain level. But I don't think you're ready, or your company's not, the money's not going to be there just providing that service, right? From a service perspective, it's your knowledge that's the money. It's not, I got Joe and Joe's the best reviewer, right? And I'm going to keep on. That's not going to be your model. Your model, most of your guys know how to analyze data, and the best part is they know how to articulate that data into creating that alert and generating, and we didn't even get into this. All this stuff on MITRE ATT&CK is detection. MDR, I talked to you before we even started drinking, so that's the only reason I have it in my head.
Tequila time, let's go.
Is the R. It's freaking responsing, right? Like, how do you respond to all this? And so I got a new beer. This is not cool because I don't want to talk another 45 minutes. So I mean, what do you think? I mean, Jeremy, we're talking, and Mike, I mean, thank you for spending time for this painful experiment of drinking beers and discussing security.
Oh, dude,
learning how to be an entrepreneur at the same time, right?
That's what I was telling Jeremy. I mean, honestly, this is what the industry is about, man. Just a bunch of good people hanging out, drinking beers and trying to solve problems and having fun doing it.
We don't have to drink beer, but it's a good option. It's a good
option. It helps.
Listen, there's a lot of whiskey and cigar, and I'll do the whiskey thing too, but I'm not a cigar. I can't smoke anything. I'm not a big smoker. And so the beer is good for me. I like the beer. It's fascinating. I'm a geek. You know how interesting beer is nowadays? They make so many different types of everything. It's crazy. So anyways, so kind of wrapping it up, Jeremy, I mean, you're going to be the most sober because you're drinking those watery beers.
Wait, he's got Miller Lite. I'm not sure. It's probably a tie.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm like, yeah, mine's definitely more watered down.
You got the oil can version though. It's good too. It's good. You know, even though this is a big manufacturer, Sierra Nevada, they do a decent job. They really do.
That's a good beer.
I like Rogue.
I really like
Rogue's the other one. Dead Man Ale. But anyways, I could get my hands on some of that. All right, so people don't.
So the question is,
here.
When is CyberShell coming out of stealth mode, or is this your official?
That's a great question. Are you in stealth mode at all?
No, that is a good question. We are pretty much operating in stealth mode at the moment. But that being said, we do have
not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think it's stealth mode because they want to be in stealth mode.
No. Yeah.
It's like saying I'm absent, but really I'm only abstaining from sex because I can't get any.
Yeah. So we do have some large customers that are beginning to pilot the solution. So that's good. I mean, obviously, it goes back to starting a company, right, Chris? And it's always that delicate balance of, hey, man, do we think we can do this on our own and kind of grassroots this? Or how far can we go along? versus taking on the VC dollars, and when is it a good time, right?
That's
so
it. It's never a good time for that one.
Never a good
I just
time.
got off a phone call with that one. You know, you know, and then again, I'm not a billionaire. I'm not driving cars and race car tracks. The reality is that, you know, either you love it or you don't, right? It's your primary passion or not. I'll tell you, I love almost everybody I meet in this industry. I miss Mudge. I really do. I wish you'd respond to my emails. I mean, I can't think of a single bad person I've met, right?
nah.
You know, okay, maybe you met a bad one, but in general, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, that, like I said earlier, man, it's just hanging out, having a good time, trying to make stuff happen. And honestly, you know, as far as starting the company goes, for me personally, what I don't want to happen is, you know, being 70 some years old and saying, you know, shit, man, I wish I would have just went for that.
Well,
you know?
I agree with 100%. Sure. Jeremy agrees with that one. And in the same ilk, right, about taking money and stuff. And I would take money if somebody threw a lot of it at me. But the reality is that.
How much, dude? No.
Yeah, I'm not that. But the reality is that you want to make the product successful, right? And you've had this idea. You started by talking in 2012. So, Mike, you've got 8 years behind this. And you want to make sure that it doesn't die when you get bought out, right? And so the question, and the other thing is, you want to at least get to that point. You want it to eventually start growing. And the reason why I was hammering home about what type of company you are is I really believe right now you're almost like an MDR, because you're going in there, you're helping people understand it. But the reality is that that's a temporary, that's a milestone to where you're going to be. Where you're going to be is, I would love you to be writing my signatures. We're going to come out with a brand new correlation engine in 2 months. I'd love them to all have your, you know, cyber shell this, cyber shell that, and you just push them out to every freaking customer.
Yeah.
I would line you up with every MSSP, and you might say, Chris, $1,000 per customer is not a lot of money, but if I get you 1,000 customers, it becomes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's the MDR play, right?
Yeah.
Volume.
Well, it's more than MDR. I think you'll get to a point where your insight on how to implement MITRE ATT&CK is better than MITRE's implementation of MITRE ATT&CK. Right? Because I don't think, because of all the gaps in MITRE ATT&CK, it's an idea. And MITRE is not designed to be a company. MITRE is designed to throw an idea out. They're throwing the idea out. It's done.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know, we, I think it was 2015, after we created basically this government version of CyberShell, you know, we went up and showed the MITRE team and about blew their mind. So, I mean, I know, you know, a lot of those guys personally, and I mean, they're awesome people. And, you know, but yeah, I think you're right. A lot of it is academia to a point, whereas we do have a lot of, you know, like real world use cases to where I mean, it works. I mean, we have quantitative results, right? To where we wrecked people and adversaries that came into our AOR. And I don't see a lot of, I haven't heard of a lot of stories or a lot of other organizations having those success stories. So you know, as far as the product goes, I mean, I know it works, right? So, and really we just want to help other people be successful. And sometimes that's hard, you know, because, you know, I mean, there's a lot of noise out there, right? There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of,
that's another show. You know, that's another show. I
okay.
Mean, we're all, Jeremy and I have talked about this before. I mean, there's so much marketing crap out there, but you've got a real deal with you, Mike. I like what you've done. I'm glad Sam introduced us. Sam Sally. There's a plug for Sam.
Yeah, shout out, Sam Sally.
And Jeremy now gets to meet you, and hopefully we keep on growing. So Jeremy, we now know we can pitch your idea. We'll pitch your idea on our product and we go meet people too. I think it's
perfect.
It's
absolutely.
No, and honestly, yeah. I mean, it's again, good group of dudes hanging out. All, you know, people that know their stuff, I mean, we're all gonna promote each other because real sees real, right? Real knows real.
That's true.
Listen, this is our time, and I'm only saying it because it's the time of the introvert. And, and so this is, people say you're gonna stay at home. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've been loving it. Yeah.
It's good. That's good. It's just the difficulty of ordering beer remote is sometimes a little tough. Thank God.
Yeah, the delivery service takes a little longer than normal.
Hence the Miller Lite. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So at the end of it all, what's your final pitch, Mike? What are you going to pitch? Like, if we're going to be at the end of this whole thing, which we are, because I'm already halfway done with my hazy pazy.
So,
yeah, me too.
I'm sorry, you're asking for the pitch?
Yeah, I'm asking for final pitch. We're at the end of this whole thing. For final pitch, some guy
closing argument.
Listened to the very end of this, right?
Man, I mean, at first I would say, man, if you've listened to the very end of this, God bless you. And
thank you. We thank you very much.
Absolutely. It's been fun, but really, in a world of, just a lot of vaporware and whatnot, we're real people and real professionals and have been in the trenches. And I'm here to tell you that what we have to offer works, and you'll be better defended, if you partake in it and you bless us with the opportunity to help your organization out. So.
Amen. I can't even tell you how many times I do that every day. All right, Jeremy. You hear me?
Well, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. If you can see there we go.
There it is. You gotta hide it in front of you.
No white beer with a white background. So, all right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. We've all been drinking. I've got like 3 ounces left. I mean, we could chit chat 3 more ounces. Where's your doggy? Your doggy came in. Your doggy came in and left.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Cliff. He's my Great Dane.
You named him after Cheers?
Huh?
Cliff Clavin? Where's
No. Clifford as in the big red dog.
Nice.
Of course, he's red.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah, but he's only one of a bunch of them wandering around here somewhere.
All right.
Well, hey guys, I appreciate the opportunity and nice to meet you, Jeremy.
Nice to meet you. It was good talking to you. I love to hear about your product. It was great. Excited.
Hopefully we'll catch up on.
I still think that you guys need to have some sort of marriage that occurs between the products, so that I can make for the customers in our MSSP. We're going to only benefit from that, capitalize on all that knowledge.
Yeah, I think that we'll come up with a path eventually that works. I really think that all these people talk about money, like VCers come in and they talk about money as driving business. Sometimes I think ideas do and people do a lot better. And this is a good idea. I really like this idea, Mike. That's the reason why you're like one of the first people I called for this, not just because you're easy. That's not really I thought that this was a good relationship, and Jeremy's going to pull some other guys in eventually. But listen, our product Fluency doesn't do shit without knowledge, right? And things don't scale without knowledge, right? I mean, you guys have knowledge and you guys can articulate it. Like I said, we're coming out with the new correlation engine, which is going to be a killer, and I think it's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
But we're going to pay you for my side. I'm going to pay you to generate kind of correlation rules, and I'll sell you as a rule set. I'll go into every single one of my customers and sell you as a rule set. And if they want for you to review it, great, I'll introduce you. If they want Jeremy to review it, I'll introduce him. I think that that is an incredible strength, and I think that the issue in our industry is, you brought it up, is the smoke and mirrors and the BS. I mean, we fight with what is correlation, right? What's database speeds, and that I can't fight those fights. Those are marketing dollars at work.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. But the reality is that at the end of the day, things get solved. right? And we can get a bunch of guys on this call, Jeremy, where people solve problems, and it's so painful when people say you don't get fired by buying Cisco. It's not true anymore. People get fired by buying the wrong product.
Yep.
They really do.
Absolutely.
And it's just people don't realize it yet, but I believe it. All right, that's me drinking. Tomorrow I'll say I never said any of this, and it's recorded. I can't. Please may hockey start up again. I'll even take baseball.
Yes.
I'll even take. I love baseball. I really do love baseball, but I love baseball sitting there watching it. I don't know if I can take it on TV. I don't know if it's all in Arizona I can handle it.
That was my one regret. Living in the capital region was not making the Caps more often.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's almost like seeing not being able to see Jordan play. Granted, we had him as a Wizard, but
I forgot about that.
but watching Ovechkin, first of all, what a quality guy. I mean, I still remember his first interview. He refused to have an interpreter, and he stumbled through English. What a quality guy from day one. And it's going to be sad the day he retires, and I hope he wins a couple more cups. But the year he won that cup and what he did with that cup.
Yeah. That's what legends do.
That's what, you know what? He's a wonderful
legends
kid.
do right there.
So anyway, so here's
Absolutely.
those Stingrays. May they do something. How are those Stingrays doing anyway?
I wish I could tell you. We were actually, Cyber Shell was gonna, buy some, nice seats for when you guys come down. The box seats.
I will
right
see it. I will even buy a jersey. I love buying minor league jerseys. I will buy a jersey. And Jeremy, when are you gonna start playing again? When's your team? You're out for the season right now?
Our team is paused only because of the whole coronavirus issue. But we won our last game, so we were running a 2-game win streak into the pause, and hopefully, once life gets back to normal, we'll continue that trend.
And you do have a
to
brewery.
make a push to the playoffs.
Don't you have a brewery sponsoring some of your drinks?
That was my other team. We had.
Sorry to bring up the pain.
No. The Gringos don't have a a sponsor currently.
That's awesome.
So who was the old sponsor? Give him some love. Who was the old sponsor?
Wolf Creek Brewery makes some amazing beers.
There we go.
They were sponsoring my old team, the Puckheads.
There you go. That I can see that shirt too. Almost like a Pac-Man style. Like Scott Pilgrim versus the World kind of thing in my head now. All right. Don't worry, it's name association crap. All right. Well, thanks, Mike, for putting up with the two of us.
Absolutely. And, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, look forward to everything that comes by. You're going to give us an update eventually, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Looking forward to it. And appreciate you having me on. And we'll be seeing y'all soon.
All 6 people who watch this are going to love what you said, Mike.
Dude, absolutely.
It all starts with 6.
That's right.
6.
We'll all look back on this day.
That's right. This is a defining moment. Take care.
Yep. See you.
Only got maybe an ounce left. We're good.